Then there you go, we'll have some audio now. It's strange that it does that. Okay, whoops, there we go. You should have some audio now, Lee. Thank you. I hadn't noticed. For some reason, a threshold has started turning off the audio, so when I restart it, I have to reset the audio. But thanks for pointing that out. Anyway, good morning. As I said, it's a VFR flight. We're going down to Swansea, and I'm hoping that I'm going to find Swansea Airport. As you can see, it's a little bit murky. And what I was saying, in the real world, looking out the window, it's actually very, very clear. Really clear. Nice bright sun. Average amount of cloud, I'd say probably around about the same cloud as we can see here. But as you can see, there's a bit of ground mist. Hasn't really been burnt off yet. So it is quite hazy as we fly down the coast towards Swansea. And a little bit of VFR. Try and get a couple of different views going here. Oops, not that one. Not that one. Probably that one. Get around the aircraft. There we go. That's better, isn't it? So, that airport there that you can see just now off my wing, that is it Landau? Landau Airport, or Landau, Landow, and there was quite an air disaster there some years ago. It was for a short while it was the worst air disaster in the world. Let's see if I can find it. I used to. What it was some fans. They'd been to see Wales play rugby against Ireland, and on the way back, their aircraft crashed. It was very tragic. Right, about 2,300 feet. Weather's a bit choppy, so let's see if I can find this. Here we go. Landau air disaster. Landow. The Landau. I'm putting my Welsh accents on there. The Landau air disaster was an aircraft accident in Wales in 1950. At that time, it was the. Hang on. I need to go to the full Wikipedia page. The Landau air disaster was an aircraft accident in Wales in 1950. At that time, it was the world's worst air disaster with a total of 80 fatalities. The aircraft, a Navro Tudor 5, had been privately hired to fly rugby union enthusiasts to and from an international game in Ireland. On the return, the flight aircraft stalled and crashed on its approach to land. Now, there were eyewitnesses to the incident, and basically they said it was coming into land, it was on approach, and then all of a sudden it went nose up and the engines could be heard to be over revving. So it went nose up, and obviously he was in a stall situation, and it crashed. Now, you saw the airport, and amazingly nobody on the ground was killed. All 80 passengers were killed, but nobody on the ground was killed, and apparently the pilot somehow avoided the village because there was a village at the end of the runway, and the first person on the scene was a young police constable. I think he was only 17, and apparently, you know, he was the first on the scene and took charge until his sergeant arrived, and yeah, it wasn't good. Apparently it was something that he wished he'd never seen and didn't want to see ever again in his life. Eyewitnesses, including a Mr. Russell, state that at 3:05 p.m, so in the afternoon, The Avro Tudor was approaching runway 28 of Landau Aerodrome at an abnormally low altitude with the undercarriage down. The pilot attempted to correct the descent by increasing the power of the engines and brought the plane up. The aircraft rose steeply to 100 metres, attaining a nose-up attitude of 35 degrees of the vertical, and then the aircraft stalled, which it would, because it was a big old plane. The aircraft was named Stargirl. Stargirl plummeted towards the ground with the right wingtip hitting the ground first, followed in turn by the plane's nose and left wing, which separated from the fuselage when it made contact. The plane turned clockwise and finally came to a rest near a field beside Park Farm, close to the small hamlet of Siningstone. Now, I've been to Siningstone. It's in the Vale of Glamorgan. Beautiful little village. Then it was a hamlet. It was no more than a few houses, but now it's grown in size a little bit. There's a nice pub there. You get a nice pub lunch. 80 men and women were killed in Wales in an aeroplane crash, the worst disaster in the history of aviation. 3 men survived. The death toll eclipsed the previous record for airplanes set in the previous November when a fighter plane rammed an airliner near the National Airport in Washington. So yeah, for quite a time it had the unenviable distinction of being the worst air disaster in the world. Anyway, a little bit of local history there as we fly down to Swansea. I really don't think I'm going to be able to find it. We're just coming over Port Talbot, I believe. Let's get the map up and see where we're at. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, I think we're just kind of over Port Talbot. Oh, there's an aircraft carrier suddenly appeared in Swansea Bay. Might be funny if we could go and try and find it. What do you reckon? Okay, let's see if we can find the aircraft carrier. Actually, it's dead ahead somewhere. I've never seen... Well, I have seen weather this bad. Ah! There we are. That's nice. A bit of clarity. Obviously the mist has burnt off. Well, I don't see any aircraft carrier out there. I should be heading directly for it, across Swansea Bay. What's that? There could be something there, but I'm not sure. That's Port Talbot down there, and the steelworks just to the right of the screen now. That's Port Talbot and the steelworks. I slightly confused as to where I was. I still can't see this aircraft carrier. It's in Swansea Bay somewhere, and you would think I'd see it by now. I wonder if the Orbex, because you see here, down here in the bottom right of the screen now, where you see the sand and then the sea, that's all Orbex stuff, because they reblended DC. I wonder if it covers up ships and what have you. Oh well, there's nothing there, is there, for sure? Maybe that's wrong. Okay, well, let's turn back this way a little bit, because I need to start trying to figure out where I need to go for the airport, e.g. FH. We'll go along the coast here, past Port Talbot Steelworks, which is actually depicted quite nice. So this is the V-Flight PA-28 Modern that I reviewed yesterday. Really nice aircraft, very nice and stable. Just get that aileron trim sorted out a little bit. There must be a bit of wind about because it's drifting off. I can't, as hard as I try, I can't set it up for it to stay on track, but not to worry. So Swansea Airport is really difficult to find. It's even it's harder to find when when you drive past it. I've driven right past it and I didn't even know I was there, which is a bit annoying, to say the least. But we might have a fly around Snowdon after. We'll see how the time goes. What time is it? It's 9:30. Okay, I've just got a message. Whoops. Doing text messages on my phone then at the same time as trying to fly, so I was hands off. Ergo, the aircraft flew. Look at the shadows there. Oh, beautiful. Those shadows in the cockpit, absolutely superb. Just look at it as I push the yoke in, the shadow changes, which is absolutely perfect. Right. I can't, in the position I want to be to get to the airport anyway. So I'm going to go slightly north here and then turn for the runway. Now, as I said, trying to find Swansea Airport even when you're on the ground is really difficult. You can drive right past it and not know it's there. It's like in a bit of a, I was going to say a valley. It's not so much a valley, but it's like a bit of low ground, and the ground around it is slightly raised, and certainly the road, if you're going down to West Wales, if you're going to say Narberth, West Wales, you can go past the airport and you just wouldn't know that you've gone past it. And it's a GA airport anyway. I don't know how much GA aircraft actually fly out of there. I suspect it's still a popular airport. Could find out some information about it in a little while, but I think it's fairly popular. It's just that I need to lose a little bit of altitude, just so that we're not rushing at this. I'm checking my map. If you keep wondering what I'm doing, I'm checking my map, because although I know approximately where it is like a lot of these GA airfields, they're not easy to find. Now I will tell you that it is out to my left somewhere. That's all I'm going to tell you. So from this view here, so to the left, there's the M4 beneath me. I still need to keep going a little bit more in this direction to where you see this kind of hill in front of me, and then I need to turn left for the airfield. It's an untowered field, so there's no radio there. I think you kind of phone up and say, I'll be flying in and I'll get there approximately, 25 to 10. Whoops. Okay, I think I can start turning left about 10-15 seconds, and we'll hopefully find that airport. What do you reckon, guys? Really like flying VFR in the UK, especially if you know the area, because then you can just kind of say, oh well, we'll go this way. A nice flight is literally from Cardiff to Gloucester. So you leave VFR North out of Cardiff, so that's between the two television masts, Wembo and St Hilary, and then you go up the coast of the Severn. So you go up the west coast of the Severn until you get to the bends, what they call the Severn Bends, where the river literally bends towards Gloucester, and then you can sight Gloucester Airport. It's really nice VFR flight, because you can wander a little bit, because as long as you've got the river is quite close, the Severn, then you can wander around a little bit and you'll be fine. Okay, so I'm turning hopefully on a heading, and you see it's quite built up here, and you think, well, where is that airport? Where is that airfield? So it's approximately 7 miles. I've got roughly about 7 miles to run. Let's keep going in this direction for a few minutes more. A few seconds more, should I say. So it's about 7 miles. So let's turn. Looking at the map, that aircraft carrier is like off my left wing, or supposed to be. Okay, where are you? That's the M4 going through there, to the right of the right centre of the screen. So 6 miles. I'm beginning to feel a little bit lost. I need to do a course correction. The airport is down here, like to the left. So I need to come this way a little bit and then turn more. So about 5.5 miles. Here we are. Question is, do you think I'm going to hit it, boys? Do you think I'm going to find it? There it is. Got it. Dead ahead. There we are, dead ahead. That's a good VRP. That building there, I don't know what that is, but we'll use that in future as our VRP. Thank goodness for Orbex, because that certainly wouldn't be there in default. There's the runway ahead. Let's have a bit of flap. Now I got to reduce speed because this aircraft, if you look at the airspeed indicator, I'm doing 110 knots. So this aircraft really takes a while slowing down. I'm virtually at zero throttle. The scale is slightly wrong, and where the needle is now, I was reading that as 60 knots. In actual fact, 60 is way down here. So you want to be landing around about 65. So I'm going to get my feet on the pedals. And here we come, over a small housing estate. A bit more thrust. Now, apparently, there's been some reports that 1140 Beta 3 is out at the moment, but you have to actually request it from Austin himself, and it is a really kind of rough beta because they've got Vulcan in there. So if you're going to get it, make sure you have a second copy of Xplane to install it onto. Okay. I copied my installation over onto another hard drive. Don't you dare. There we go. I copied my installation onto another hard drive, and I've requested a copy of it because apparently people are reporting quite significant performance enhancements in terms of FPS. So I'd like to get that to test it for you guys and let you know. So here we go. I'm a little bit fast, 85 knots. I want to slow down a little bit as this aircraft bounces something terrible. If you're too fast and that front wheel starts bouncing, you're in trouble. So it's not a, I think it's meant to be a 3-point landing, but yeah. So here we come. Still a little bit fast, a bit more flap, slow us down a little. At least we've got some length here today, and that should be on the numbers. And touchdown. See? And I think I've broken my undercarriage. Gee, what a monster this is. Let's have a look. Have I broken it? Oh, no, I don't think so. Whew. It's a demon. It really is a demon. No, I didn't break it, but it felt like it. I'd have to do that again, I would. I really would. So that was nasty. I'll tell you what we'll do. No, I won't do that. I was just saying that was a nasty landing. Right, you see what I mean about, you've got that road up there, but that's not the road that you go on. The road that you travel on to go past is down here somewhere. And you literally go right past the airport. I did anyway, when I drove past it. Never mind. And I think there's one little sign on a wall that says Swansea Airport. Oh well, there we go. That's a bit of a live stream for you. I've just had a text message, so I've got to go and do something. So I will cut this live stream short, and for those of you who watch it on YouTube later, hope you enjoy it, apart from the landing, which I thought I had perfect, right on the numbers, perfect, until that front wheel. That front wheel bounces, you're in trouble. Anyway, catch you all later, you take care. See you, Lee, and who the other person is as well. Cheerio.